That is now allowed, I guess, to describe women as household objects and black people as farm objects.
Make your point without engaging in or you're not demeaning people because of their race or their gender or being violent.
That these fact checkers brought this on themselves. They beclown themselves. They're not fact checkers. They're partisan sledgehammers. They're partisan assassins. They're not checking any facts.
Hello, everybody. Guys, let's get right into the CNN panel with Abby Phillip. This was disconcerting to me. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. Let's get right into it.
Mark Zuckerberg change up. What is behind this, you think?
So Mark Zuckerberg is making the exact opposite reaction to the 2024 election he had in 2016. When Trump won 8 years ago, that was sort of the beginning of this era of what was then Facebook, where Mark Zuckerberg was obsessed with kind of pleasing his critics in the media, in the Democratic Party, from other people in technology. Now, Mark appears obsessed with pleasing the new administration. And this is not somebody who I think has particularly strong political beliefs at his core. Like, this is not somebody, you know, as everyone knows, he dropped out of college. He is not somebody who, when you talk to his friends, as I did for a piece this summer, he's not somebody who, you know, feels super strongly about tax issues or abortion politics or climate change. This is somebody who, at this point in his life at least, cares primarily about being liked and being liked by the incoming administration.
What about the money?
The money.
the dollar signs.
Well,
I
I think, right.
This is going to be, first of all, getting rid of a huge chunk of trust and safety. That's going to save them a ton of money. This is an environment in which Facebook, Meta wants to compete in the AI space. Everybody's trying to make Trump happy. I mean, fundamentally, isn't this about his shareholders?
I mean, look, obviously there's a massive antitrust investigation that you know, the incoming administration is going to have a lot of power over. I don't think it's really about the cost of the employees as much as it is about Mark Zuckerberg sees an existential risk to his company. I mean, Donald Trump has talked about putting Mark Zuckerberg in jail. He sees probably an existential risk to himself.
Yeah, this is the part about going to jail. This was actually bizarrely in a coffee table.
Before we get to that, like, Mark Zuckerberg, you're a multi-billionaire. Like, your life has been a walk in the park and you're worried about being liked. I'm sorry. You should be worrying about doing the right thing. Whether you're rich, poor, it doesn't matter. It should be about the right thing, not about being liked. What if the majority of people in the country or wherever is racist or bigoted or filled with hate? You're just going to do whatever it takes to please the people? Have no values that you're going to stand by no matter what? This is why we need to tax the rich appropriately. These people have way too much power over our society. Being able to control social media that we all use in a way that's just beneficial to them as far as making money. This is just, it's extremely dangerous.
Book.
Yeah.
He says, Mark Zuckerberg would come to the Oval Office to see me, be as nice as anyone could be, while always plotting to install shameful lockboxes in a true plot against the president. We are watching him closely, and if he does anything illegal this time, he'll spend the rest of his life in prison, as will others who cheat in the 2024 election. And you heard President Trump today say, yeah, I think that these kinds of threats had something to do with it.
Abby, I think it's about trust. And Elon Musk put out, this is cool. I think part of it is, how does Meta regain that trust? No doubt that Facebook a lot of Americans are getting their information from there. And China and Russia, Iran, bad actors have used these bots in order to fill things. X has kind of gone a different route and has allowed everyone to police themselves. It's an interesting model. I'm glad Meta is picking it up. But once again, it's about regaining the trust. These social media platforms, they can't just be the Wild Wild West. But a lot of times, let's let Americans police ourselves. Let's get back to some of that. I think that it's a positive thing.
Your thoughts?
Look, I am.
Like, are they going to talk about how dangerous Trump is? And this is, hey, MAGA morons out there. This is why we call him a fascist. Because of the oppression and suppression of any opposition news. Look at MSNBC. They had to capitulate to him. ABC with George Stephanopoulos. Because all these people want to be in good standing with the president, so they can get breaking news and whatever it is. And that's their own issue too. That's something that the media has a problem too. But this is why people like Trump are so dangerous, because companies are going to do whatever it takes to make more money. And Trump knows that. He uses that to his advantage. And Zuckerberg, saying that he's going to jail him. Think about the things that Trump said about shooting reporters to get to him and whatever. Like, this is why this rhetoric is dangerous. Right? You have to understand the incentives of both. Trump wants power, he wants obedience, he wants loyalty, he wants to be a dictator. And these news companies are ran by billionaires. They want to keep making billions. So they're going to capitulate and bend the knee if Trump, like Trump did, become the president. Like, MAGA out there, can you not see how dangerous this is? What if this goes against you? What if you get a Democrat president that's as dictatorish and fascistic as Trump is, and pushes all these things that he wants or she wants with no checks, and media is completely bending the knees to them, even your beloved Fox News? Can you not see how dangerous this is? Media should be unbiased, no matter what.
A strong defender of free speech. But you can't say, I'm for free speech, and then engage in intimidation. We saw this with Jeff Bezos and the Washington Post pulling punches. We saw it with the LA Times. Now we're seeing Facebook, which is a private entity, trying to do things because Donald Trump's asking. And what is shameful about Meta, that there should be bipartisan outrage, is they're doing nothing to protect the kids. They've been peddling with algorithms information that is causing young girls to have suicidal thoughts, eating disorders. Jonathan Haidt has a book, Anxious Generation, that exposes all of that. And Meta has been lobbying to block the Kids Online Safety Act, which passed the Senate 68 votes. And someone needs to ask Zuckerberg about that.
You know what? I wasn't planning on taking it there, but I think it is such an important point. This is actually a huge distraction from the thing that he's probably under the most pressure about. I don't know that anybody was saying there's not enough free speech on Facebook. First of all, I mean, not a lot of people, younger than the age of 35 are using Facebook anymore anyway. Nobody wants Facebook to be this free speech panacea. I just am I'm curious about where this is even coming from outside of pleasing a Trump-focused narrative that there is a speech problem on certain social media platforms.
I hate how they go around this sometimes. Just say it. It wants to be more like X, and it's to please the MAGA base, which we all know what they want. They just want to be bigoted. They just want to be racist. They want to be able to attack black people and call them the N-word, and attack trans people without any repercussions. That's what it's all about. The only people that ever cry about free speech is right-wingers. Why do you think that is? What is it that they so badly want to say and hate it that society, cancels them in some way if they do say these words? Why is it always them that are worried about free speech? These people are disgusting. Ever since Trump came down this escalator, this normalizing of hate, this allowing people to just be more outright. This is why we need to keep pushing back. We can't just let this stuff go unchecked. It's becoming more and more and more normalized. And we know the history of this country and how bad that can get when racism gets further normalized.
I'll tell you where it's coming from the right, and that is that these fact checkers brought this on themselves. They beclown themselves. They're not fact checkers. They're partisan sledgehammers. They're partisan assassins. They're not checking any facts. They exist. They exist not to check facts. They exist to try to screw Republicans. Let's be honest. That is what they have become. And Facebook had entered in to this situation where these people were effectively making things up to try to tilt the narrative in this country on a lot of different issues. He was right to get out of this, and he is also right to follow the X model of community notes. You're going to get far better fact-checking, far better information by crowdsourcing this the way Elon Musk has done it. It's going to be a lot more fair. It's going to be a lot more fair than it has been because the fact-checkers were ridiculous.
I don't have any problem actually with the fact. To be honest, I think it's fine to use community notes. Because frankly, some community notes utilize fact-checking resources, and it can be faster in some cases. The thing that I thought was amusing about this announcement was that he was like, you know what, we're going to move what's left of our trust and safety to Texas, where there are no concerns about bias, which makes no sense because Texas,
Unless you're
like,
from Texas. And then you're like, damn right, come to Texas.
I should come to you on this
the
one because you should
The
know.
last state of freedom, come on down.
No offense
We
to
welcome
Texas.
you.
I love me some Texas, but Texas is like any other place in this country. Why not say, hey, we're going to distribute this around the country where we can say it's no one place is going to be the center of our workforce when it comes to arbitrating some of these disputes.
Look, I think this issue across platforms, today it is Meta. I have a slightly different take on X. I think that people feel like X is very slanted towards the right since Elon Musk bought it in 2022. I'm not saying it always
no
was, but
shit.
I think that you can look and you can tell the algorithms and the ways that, you know, when you go to, I don't even follow Elon Musk, I don't think, and I always see his tweets because he owns it, and so that's what he gets to do. And he owns a private company, and that's fine. You know, that's what corporations can do. I think there's a bigger conversation that Congress actually is going to have to handle. And I actually think that there is bipartisan support. I forget the Democrat, but I know Josh Hawley is one of the folks who has been really interested in putting some regulatory provisions on social media platforms. I don't think Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk should be the arbiters of truth either, actually. But who is then? Maybe it is crowdsourced.
The American people.
Yes, but there also have to be leaders that are arbiters of truth as well. And so there has to be like, we don't want our politicians, we don't want our elected officials to be lying to the American people for political gain. I think if we can come back to some of those norms. But right now, I do think social media is out of control. And it is with AI, the bots are on both sides. Interference is coming from both sides. And I just think that we need to do some leveling of the playing ground. Or we do tread into this place where, because most of Americans are getting our news, facts and opinions are going to become one and the same, and that is not a good thing for our country.
And Scott, look, you were very effective.
And I think, and guys, I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think should be the fact checkers? Fact checkers? Should it be, you know, the American people, whoever is on these social media websites, or should it be some type of committee? I kind of am leaning some type of committee where you get a group of people that's, some of them are biased to the left, some of them are biased to the right, maybe some independent, and come together, decide about these facts, right? And you have to have resources as to why these are facts. And I don't think we should leave it to the American people, especially when we know that the right wing is just obsessed with social media. They're just much more prominent. They're just much more prominent online. They like to go online. They like to start fights. They're sociopaths, a lot of them, right? They're just obsessed with being on social media and spewing the garbage and starting arguments. Most of us on the left, I think, I mean, I don't know if it's most of us, but a lot of us on the left, we just don't want to deal with this crap. That's why a lot of them left X. We just don't want to deal with this racist garbage. So I don't know if the community notes is the right way to go for these platforms in the long run. Let me know what you think in the comments.
For Donald Trump in the months you were on. But I'll give you this. You aren't peddling conspiracy theories, right? You can make your point without engaging in some, or you're not demeaning people because of their race or their gender or being violent. And Tony, you don't do that in Congress. And what we need is more people within the bounds of public discourse and not have these things turn into just misinformation zones and zones of hate.
I don't disagree with you about the danger of outright misinformation or even hate. I am concerned about who and what kind of people get to set those boundaries. And what conservatives have become concerned about over the years is that full institutional control of information distribution hubs seems to have been on the left. And now the liberals are howling about what Zuckerberg has done today because, you know, there's been a bit of a bounce back or a pullback from the left having full control of the boundaries of the discourse. I'm in agreement with you that misinformation and blatant disinformation is bad. But you have to admit, some of the things that we were told was mis and disinformation over the years turned out not to be, and you got in big trouble if you decided to go outside those boundaries when the institutional elites were telling you to stop, or worse to you.
Let me give Meta some credit here. They published the changes to their policies online. You can see what has changed. One of the things that's changed is now struck from the Meta policy is that dehumanizing speech, including calling people certain objects, including women as a household object or property, or objects in general, Black people as farm equipment, transgender or non-binary people as it, that has been taken out of the policy. So that is now allowed, I guess, to describe women as household objects and Black people as farm objects. What's the point of this?
Abby, you know what's the point of this? Who do you think that appeals to? It's the right wing. They're the ones that want to call Black people farm equipment. I didn't even know they're doing this. Women property, right? We talked about this. This is the things that's, again, have becoming more and more prominent on the right wing. This hate for women, this hate of Black people, misogyny, immigrants. It's insane. It's dangerous. And they specifically said hateful conduct is not allowed. Who do you think that appeals to? Like, where are we going with this country? And right-wingers out there, do you think it is safer? You think it is a better idea to allow hate speech to be said? If you have kids out there, do you think that's a good idea? Do you want a society where your kid grows up possibly calling someone the N-word? Do you think your kid would be in a safer society doing that? Or his goofy friends doing that? Or her? Or do you think that sooner or later, someone's going to whip their ass? And rightfully so, although I don't condone violence. But, I mean, what would you expect in these situations? Not everyone is just going to hold back and keep it moving. I mean, again, how is society benefiting from this kind of stuff? Like, honestly, we shouldn't even have to have a policy where you can't say hateful stuff. You should just not say it. What is wrong with people? If aliens ever came to this planet, guys, they would think there's no intelligent life here. Well, assuming they came across MAGA first. Like, what are we doing here? Really, are you happier with this hate in your heart? Do you really wake up in the morning, you're happier?
The fact that let's look at how this was announced today. This was announced on Fox and Friends. It was announced following a kind of month-and-a-half long campaign by Meta, by Mark Zuckerberg, to curry favor with Donald Trump. He went to Mar-a-Lago. He donated to the Trump inaugural. And, Mark Zuckerberg has hired Republican political advisors. They elevated a Republican political advisor to be in charge of their political office.
Put a Trump confidant on his board.
Correct. Just the other day, Dana White. So the fact is this policy is aimed at one person. It is aimed at the President of the United States who's coming in. And look, this Facebook and Meta and Mark Zuckerberg are probably being more overt than any other company right now in trying to curry favor with the next president. But the policy platform that they're pushing and all the policies you just laid out, Abby, are primarily, is it really a considered change because they believe X, Y, or Z? Or is this just kind of much more tactical? Much more of a strategic move that they want to have, not be broken up.
Hit us over the head with a 2x4 about.
It is not subtle.
It's not.
You said it's aimed at one person, but isn't it aimed at half the country? I mean, they're a business. They have a market. They have to. But the aim is to try to get as many people. Any company's trying to get people to use their product, and I'm just telling you, on the right, some of these technology products have
I think
lost favor.
I think actually, Scott, the numbers show a lot of conservatives use Facebook and have been. Teddy Schleifer, thank you very much for joining us. Everyone else,
guys, we're gonna leave it there. But yeah, guys, if Kamala Harris won, do you think Zuckerberg will be doing this? Allowing more harmful content? And he admits more harmful content coming to Meta. This is why these billionaires they're just vile. I'm sick of them. The Democrats need to completely disown them. Do not take any billionaire, these super wealthy, powerful, rich people, companies' money anymore. Completely disown them. These guys are screwing us. Not just by not paying their fair share. Like, these people are destroying society. And this is just the political stuff. How about what social media, there's been studies done on what they're doing to young women and their perspective of the world. It's clearly affecting young men with this increase in misogyny. They're learning garbage on the internet, garbage on social media. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. This to me is extremely disconcerting, but I'm going to leave it there. Please subscribe if you aren't. Thank you for watching if you got all the way to the end, and I'll catch you in the next one.